Welcome to the Felt Dyslexic Artist Interview. My name is Liz Buckridge. For me, as a dyslexic artist, other artists and creatives have always been my number one inspiration. In these interviews, we talk with artists and creatives who share their stories and we gain insight into their process from inspiration to art tips, career building, and more. We're so lucky to listen to the wisdom of Carla Thomson today. I'm excited to hear about her past and future projects and her insights on life as an artist. Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for talking with us today.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
I'm going to jump right in. Describe the art you make. What medium do you primarily work in, and why do you choose that medium?
I make oil paintings and functional ceramics. And why do I choose that medium? Ceramics because they're very sculptural and I like working with my hands. And oils because that medium really, that the richness and the working time, it really allows me to get the depth that I want to do. I focus a lot on florals and landscapes, but they're really, my paintings, they're really about capturing a moment in time that I have witnessed and I want to preserve it. Or it could be something like more recently, something that I'm imagining I would like to do. And I think it's beautiful and I want to share that moment. So it gives us a chance to share that connection and then inspire, which is what the point to me art is meant to do.
I love that. Do you work in any other mediums?
Um, I started with drawing early on, and so I do have some drawings. I actually have an Etsy shop where that's all that I have drawings on there, my charcoal drawings. And that was a result of I'll start paintings as a drawing, which is what this one started as. Uh, and some of the drawings, they were so pretty that I said, let me just put these out there, and they took hold. And so that shop, that's all that's out there is just charcoal drawing. So I do that, but that's really a step in my process towards getting to my paintings. And that's it. I've forbidden myself from using any other mediums because it just can get, very distracting. And I really think that you should focus and master your craft. And so that's why I'm sticking with just ceramics and oils
And charcoal.
as a means to getting, yes. Yeah.
Oh my God. How did you get into making art? Can you tell us about your background and how you first became interested in art?
Uh, I think it found me and there was never any thought to it. It was just from a very young age. Just I think most artists are from a very young age. Maybe what's a little bit different with me is yes, I loved all the arts and crafts and I did drawing through high school. And then I went to college and I did graphic design and photography. I didn't start painting until I painted my nursery walls. So that was about 28 years ago. And that is how I got into painting because I never painted before. It was all drawing, arts and crafts, and I hadn't done ceramics until about 10 years ago. But those are the two mediums that stuck.
Wow. How did you get into your specific style? What themes or subjects inspire your work?
Well, if you see mine, it's primarily florals and landscapes, everything that's nature inspired. I love paintings that have architecture. However, for me, there's nothing man-made in, I can't think of any of them, but all of my art, it's all nature. I love the lines in it. I love the shadows. I love everything about it. You know, yeah, just the organic elegance in nature. I love it. But what was the start of that question?
Um, how did you get into your specific
Okay, how did I
style?
get into that stuff? And that's a really important question. For me, it took years of intentional practice because I felt that I was all over the place. And, I didn't see a cohesiveness in my artwork. And so after years of making art, almost every day, when I could, it was really starting to live with it and see it and identify, what do I love about this? What do I want to keep doing? What am I seeing in other people's art? So there are definitely some artists that have inspired me that I want to emulate. And so from that, I decide, like, what do I want to keep and what can go away?
Wow. Do you consider yourself neurodivergent or neurotypical?
I think I have tendencies of both. After seeing your question, I would have said neurotypical. I think I take information in. I think I process information and communicate it in a neurotypical way. However, I definitely have neurodivergent tendencies like ADD. And that is constant, as you just saw. I kind of lost track of the question, the beginning of it. But yes, I have lists and lists of lists, and sometimes I have things that appear, the same thing will appear on multiple lists. I'll walk around the house or the studio and I'll have 5 things going on and I just skip around. So that's fun.
Have you faced any challenges or setbacks in your art career? How did you overcome them?
Every day, Liz. Um, You know what, like those lists, it's just a constant reminder, reminding myself, what are your priorities? What are you aiming to do? Outside of family and health, like art is the number one for me. I prioritize it every day to do it. And yeah, as an artist, you're always facing challenges, you can't just make work in your studio and poof, magically somebody finds it, unless your goal is to just accumulate canvases, um, and applying to shows and dealing with that rejection. I mean, that was a challenge for me years ago, not so much anymore. I know it's really just about finding the person or the collector that goes with this. So it's almost like I'm a matchmaker.
Love
I
that.
just thought of it now, Liz.
Love that so much. Where did you grow up?
Johnston, Rhode Island. So I'm a native Rhode Islander. And I lived there until I got married 20, what, I don't know, it was in 95. And then we moved out here to Gloucester. We wanted some nice wide open space and some garden. And I wanted to be able to go outside in my pajamas and no one would see me.
Your property is amazing.
Thank you.
Did you do art when you were a little kid?
Yes, yes. And it reminds me, like when I think back, the art that you did when you were really young, and there I have such fond memories of 2 types of work, which have nothing to do with what I'm doing now. But I don't know if you did this. Do you remember you would get a little square, a little piece of tissue paper, put it over the eraser, and then stick it down on a piece like, and it was almost like tissue paper mosaic, but it had that soft, like a carpety, that, and then the actually using the hole punch paper and doing mosaics. I loved it. So yes, I mean, that is very, I think that was for our motor skills when we were very, very young. But I remember that when I saw your question. So yes, from a very young age, but it was coloring books, and I never called it art. We never called it art. It was just playing and yeah, coloring when it was raining outside.
Hmm. Um, do you have a favorite colorway for your art, like a color palette? And is the colorway for your art different or the same as the colors in your house?
It is different. The walls and just about everything in the house really serves as a backdrop to the art. Uh, so yeah, you see my walls, they're all very neutral. Um, and I like hanging mostly my art, but I aspire one day to have to have other walls or larger walls filled with, not just mine, but other people's work too. And my colorway, I would say I think they're bold and they're bright. They're not, as much as I've tried to do neutral, like really soft paintings, and they never come out. So I would say very colorful work. That's what comes out.
Describe the space where you make your art. Where are we?
Here we are. This is my studio. So it's a typical colonial. And instead of a dining room, it's a studio. It always has been since when the kids were little. We called it the workroom, the craft room. And I would say when I started doing this professionally, I don't know, when I started selling work, I took it over and now it's, just dedicated studio space. But yeah, everything I need is right here. It's the painting studio. I do have ceramics. I do that out of the basement, but I like it. I walk by every day and, sometimes I'll stop and add a stroke of paint or a stroke of charcoal somewhere.
I like how it's right in your front door.
Yes. Yep. I wish that it were not. I wish it was maybe in the back of the house, but
Oh,
this is where the spare room ended up because I only use my dining room like a couple times a year. And so but this is used every day.
I love it. How did your school system support your interest in art growing up?
I mean, we had art, uh, and so I went to private school, and I don't remember it ever being deprioritized. But I would say the biggest influence, where I really felt that it was that somebody was paying attention and they were really encouraging me was in high school. I had a very eccentric art teacher. And I really felt I had arrived when she let me have the keys to the supply closet. And she was the first one to really encourage us to put our art into a town competition. And, I won the prize there. So, and then just encouraging me to go on and do it in college. So, yeah, I think that art teacher, Mrs. Mowry, was definitely pivotal.
What high school did you go to?
Johnston, well, I started at Prout, 2 years at Prout, and then I graduated from Johnston High.
And that's where your eccentric teacher was?
Yes, yeah, I didn't really have art at Prout now that you say that. There wasn't, yeah, I did not do it there.
Any private lessons?
So when I got older, I studied with a woman in Burrville, Linda Woods, who's an absolutely amazing painter. Just, so think Sergeant Bouguereau, and that's her work. She's incredible. Mhm.
How do you see your work evolving or changing in the future? What do you have planned?
I have no plans. Honestly, I really don't. I get very excited about ideas that I want to put down, get onto canvas right now. But everything is very reactive, I'll see something and oh, that would make a great series. So, I've been doing florals for quite some time. I don't see myself moving away from that. So flowers and trees and landscapes and then combinations of both. And so right now, I'm really excited about doing things that are kind of imagination, but are also, could be like that painting up there where, I mean, it's possible that we could have had that bouquet of flowers flowing and flying through the air. So I like doing work like that, and that's what this one is really gonna be too. There's gonna be some flowers in here. I'll probably use the lilacs. I don't, in different colors because we'll see. But I have no plans for where it's gonna go. It's after I start doing something and something else I'll see will interest me, and then I'll want to capture that, and if I think that would be interesting. And sometimes they are, and I'll do a series, and sometimes they're complete failures. And I'll just turn those around.
Is making art an emotional process for you or a strategic process?
Making of the art is 100% emotional. Absolutely. Yeah, there's nothing strategic in there. I just paint whatever I think would be interesting. Um, I would say I'm really driven to make paintings that I think are beautiful. So just living around beauty and things that are gonna uplift and make me happy and make me peaceful. And hopefully they'll make you feel that way. So yes, it's 100% emotional, and 99.9% those emotions are meant to be positive.
Can you walk us through your creative process from idea to finished piece?
Sure, an idea, it can come from anywhere. It can be something that I've seen. It can be something that I imagine. So a lot of my work more recently, I'm just pulling it out of my imagination. Uh, it's certainly influenced by things I've seen. After you paint 100 flowers, you kind of have a sense for, how to do that, and now you can start making it do what you want it to. Um, so that's where the idea can come from anywhere. And then the actual process, I can use a picture. Sometimes I'll have photo references. I'll start with an acrylic base to seal the canvas, and I could put a couple of layers. Everything that's here right now is all acrylic and charcoal. So I haven't even started with the oil, so that's gonna be next. And then it's just layer upon layer upon layer. If I want to do some texture, I'll get that in there. This one does have some, I don't know if you can see it, but eventually you will. So yeah, and I'll just keep going until, and I heard this quote. We were talking about it in a class at the art club, and we're like, when do you know you're done? And it's until when nothing on the canvas bothers me. So that's when I know I'm done.
I love that. How do you combine the art you love to make and the art you sell?
So everything that I do, all of my art is art that I want to make. So whether it's my ceramic pieces or whether it is a painting, it's something that I love. I think, so I don't do anything because, you know, somebody tells me I should do this, which is really interesting because sometimes when we're at the art shows, people love telling you what to, you should paint this. And that's so cute. It's sweet. So I just like, okay. Sometimes I get a good idea. Somebody, a client had once mentioned I should try irises, and I did, and it was a great idea. But don't tell me to paint school buses because I probably won't do that. I do commissions though. And sometimes, people will want something very specific. And that's great because they're just asking me to do it in my style, which is completely fine. But I will tell you that sometimes that can be a little nerve-wracking because you definitely, in my head at least, I'm like, oh, are they gonna like this? Are they gonna like this? I painted a wedding bouquet for a lovely couple, and through the process, I'm like, oh gosh, what a special day this was. This is so important. I hope they're gonna love it. So I can tell myself, of course they're gonna love it. They love your work. They're gonna like what you're doing. but still there's just that little bit of doubt in there in my head. I'm like, oh gosh, are they gonna like this? Whereas when I'm painting, it's just what do I like it?
I love that. How do people find your art to purchase? Do you have a website?
I do. It's carlathomson.com. I also have an Etsy shop with my drawings. But on my website, you can see both my paintings if I have posted them out there. I have a little bit of a lag between what I've created, so there's probably like a couple of months before I get new pieces out there. And I also just recently put some of my ceramics on my website.
Cool. We'll put that information in the show notes.
Thank you.
Can you share a recent project or a piece of work that you're particularly happy about?
I mean, sure. Yeah, I would say like the ones that I'm working on right now, where they've crossed the line, where they're realistic, you see that they're florals, but you would never see them in nature this way. So I'm really stylizing them, I suppose. But yes, I'm very happy with that, and just working these interesting backgrounds or backdrops for these floral displays.
That's cool.
And then my ceramics, so then I don't have a piece to show you right now. But the pieces that I'm working on right now, I'm so excited about. So, I would think by the time my open studio comes in November, I'm gonna have some what I'll call magic.
Ooh. How do you stay motivated as an artist?
Not a problem for me. Now, I think what's a bigger struggle for me is getting everything that's in my head, everything that I want to do, and getting it, into the clay or onto the canvas. So I don't have any trouble staying motivated.
Cool. Are there any artists or creatives who have influenced or inspired your work?
Oh my gosh, so many, so many. But I will say my favorites, and I really just narrowed this list myself. Corot, love his work. Um, Turner, and oh my gosh, I can't believe I just forgot the other one. But I love the tonalists. Oh, and George and S. I did do a reproduction. I mean to do that more, where I'll just reproduce a lot of these artists' work, and I don't know, I haven't had a chance to do it. I want to do it though. So those three are very, I mean, Turner, my gosh, I just,
Wow. Very moody.
yes,
Huh.
yeah.
What advice would you give to an aspiring artist looking to pursue a career in the arts?
It's a marathon. It's definitely a marathon. Is just keep doing it every day. Um, you know, develop your skills. Yeah, just create the work, and it will, things will come, and just, I would say, yeah, just keep doing it every day. And it's not something, it just doesn't happen overnight. I know it looks like it. And I think I thought it would happen quickly, but it just doesn't. It takes time, and your art really doesn't speak for itself.
That's good. What is your favorite book, movie, song, podcast?
Oh gosh. I While I'm painting, I will listen to podcasts and audiobooks on 1.5 or 1.2. So many. I will tell you ranges of things that I like. So for podcasts, I start off with news. I know I like to know what's going on, but I do some news podcasts. I'll also listen to podcasts about cryptocurrency. Very interested in that. And then there are some art podcasts that I like. So there's one Allison Stanfield has one, the Art Biz. Um, Miriam Schulman has one, and I listen to hers. They're great as far as art business. So podcasts, those are what I listen to for podcasts. For books, I do a lot of, I don't want to say they're self-help, but it's more about, just I'm trying to think, like seven atomic habits. That was super helpful for me, especially with the ADD, so, just focusing on one thing and working on that. And that was super helpful. Carving out studio time. So think books like that, I will do a lot of listening to. I do like fiction. Um, as far as movies, there's not many that I haven't seen. And I do love movies. So recently I'm trying to like, it's so hard for me to say because if you saw, I have so many. Um, I recently, like, I'll love anything that Guy Ritchie does. I know that might seem kind of crazy, but I love his movies. I think they're so, yeah, they're so edgy and I like action. And I also I try to avoid anything that's really sad. I don't want to go there. Life has it. I want to be entertained when I watch movies, so I want to feel good, especially before I go to bed. I'll get nightmares.
What music do you listen to?
Um, oh gosh. My husband was a huge music fan, and my kids are, and I am woefully inadequate in that area. However, I know what I like, and lately, so I'll do two. I go between two playlists, and one of them is the 70s because that's what I grew up with. And honestly, I think the 70s music really was the best. Um, so I'll go between that and Mozart. Mozart because he helps you focus and it's nice background music. So when I really have to get something done, if I have to write something, if I'm doing like computer work, I'll put that on.
Do you recommend a book to people over and over again, or a movie or anything?
There's like a handful of books. Now in my 50s, I wish that, I knew what I know now in the 20s. So, whether they like it or not, my kids and all my nieces and nephews, all in their 20s, most of them are in their 20s now, get lots of recommendations, and that would be that Atomic Habits, Mindset by Carol Dweck. I What's the other one? Never Split the Difference. So these are all just great books that I'm like, oh gosh, if only I knew that at their age. So yeah, those are all books that I recommend over and over again to them.
I love that. What do you want to talk about that I didn't ask?
The only thing I would mention is at the end of the year, so every November, there's like a group of artists up here, and we invite people into our studios. And it was lovely. It's just lovely. I think this will be my fourth year doing it. The first time it was a little awkward, having people come into your home. But it was lovely. It really was lovely, and I really enjoy it. It's more of a party, and I meet new people, and I'm able to share all of my work as opposed to when I go to a show. I have to curate, select works. But when I have it here, people can see everything that I have.
What's the name of it?
It's
That
called
show?
Artists Open Studios.
In a certain town, or
Honestly, I think that they must have gotten there first because it's artistopenstudio.org. And I know that people have them all around, but that's ours up here in the north, and it's Gloucester, Situate, And I think Foster, I think there's a couple people in Foster too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so
You're
much.
very welcome,
Thank you
Liz.
for letting
Thank
us into
you.
your studio. This is a
Absolutely.
very magical place.
Thank
The
you.
property and just your studio itself. I felt inspired for sure. You're very inspirational. And much love.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time. Yay!